Warning: this video contains a lot of topics many viewers may find disturbing, such as suicide, murder, gore, drugs, and so forth. Viewer discretion is advised. Jo Sipu, aka Spinach Pudding, is a rather unique Korean animation channel on YouTube that specializes in cutesy, psychological lore. Their style is very unique, which after you finish this video, I suggest you go over and support their creations. They make a variety of content, including fan drawings of various games and shows such as Poppy Playtime, Nana, and Kakiguri. However, their content mainly focuses on the development of their OCT characters, which is what we are focusing on in this series. After they made videos for 3 years, I believe they have given us enough details in order to piece together a more complete picture of who the characters are and what happened to them. Hello everyone, welcome to Swishy K. Today we are breaking down and exploring the lore and possible theories for Jo Sipu and their creations. Before we touch any of their content, we have to determine what we think is real and what is psychological or symbolic representation of the world. If everything was real, these people have some special healing powers. They're mad scientists, they're zombies, are in an apocalypse, are basically gods, and essentially immortal. Or perhaps none of these characters are truly characters and they are all purely symbolic. I mean, this could all very much be true, and this is all a crazy, fantastical world with no deeper meaning, or all symbolism without true connection. However, with how the flashbacks mimic more of real life and the consistencies throughout the material, I feel that most of what we see with the flashy animation, gore, and such are more psychological representation or symbolism of what actually happened. Some of it may not even show us truly what happened to the characters in the past, but they give us a better understanding of their emotions and relationships, while the flashbacks or memory snippets are based in reality and actually happened. Now, Jo Sipu has a lot of content, and each video does not show a direct correlation to each other. Piecing this information together seemed impossible at first. However, a few months ago, the creator made their first game, Balvenie's Birthday Party, and that is where I feel it is the easiest to begin our dissection. This game is about preparing everything for Balvenie's perfectly normal, happy party. The choices in game affect how the party will turn out with 4 possibilities. While the game mechanics are simple, as she said, she is not good at coding and did this due to popular demand. She did a nice job at optimizing the experience and adding the tiny details she's known for doing in her content. I chose to do this video by digesting the gameplay as it happens to give you guys a chance at forming your own ideas, which feel free to share down below, and also to show you how my ideas developed. These theories in this video are purely based on this game, and in part 2, I'll be mixing the game and her videos to share my complete theories on this universe so far. Now let's begin this wholesome, family-friendly adventure with Balvenie. The game starts off by showing us that Balvenie lives in the perfect world that we all wish we live in. She is woken up constantly by these adorable white bunny henchmen, and I mean, look at those chubby cheeks. Don't you wish that was waking you up every morning? If that woke me up every morning, I would certainly be a lot more willing to get out of bed. We also learn that June 21st is Balvenie's birthday, which is what this whole game is about. And as she wakes up, you see she lives in this immaculate room. Pink, princessy, we instantly understand she is a cute, innocent girl that loves her princesses, loves the color pink, and lives in a perfect fantasy world with her bunny henchmen, even going as far as to set a whole entire birthday party just for her, just so she can enjoy herself and relax, which, such cute, adorable, innocent henchmen, perfect for this girl. As we explore the room, we find out that she's pretty simple-minded. It's certain it's a curtain, pretty full of some little puns and everything, is a well-decorated room, and also be appreciative that I cut out a good section of this. At the beginning, I struggled with moving. Apparently, I had a file wrong in a wrong spot, and, well, got it figured out, and here we are normal. Also, you notice that there's some things in this room that reveal things may not be as it seems. As you can see, the very suspicious blood on the wall and the bloody knife. Now, this all serves to possibly show us that Balvenie may not be exactly the innocent little bunny girl she suggests that she is. and that she may have a lot more sinister side to her. However, this is yet to be proven, and all she needs that night for is to break out of her room. Now that she has broken out in maybe one of the most violent ways possible, it is time for us to move on to the next area. Now we bust down the door and enter the hallway, which we can notice a lot of things right off the bat. First thing, we see Balvenie's room and also new characters, Tin Balin. We can see the very drastic differences between these two characters. Tin Balin has a lot of spikes, do not enters, there is a little bit of a sloppier feel to it, and eyeballs all over the place, letting off a creepy feel. Also, blood is coming out from under it, and it's time to enter this very suspicious room. Once we enter the room, we find the source of the blood, this meaty pulp in the middle of the room that we don't know what it is yet, and also a very gorgeously well-designed "Kill Me" written all over the wall. I know that's a rave right now, and I know someone paid a decorator a lot of money to have that on their wall. We also find out Balvenie's a little obsessed with Tin Balin. Whenever she talks about her, she gets very big red heart eyes, maybe even yandere, some would say. She also will accept anything Tin Balin likes in order to appease her, such as smoking. While Balvenie doesn't like smoking, Tin Balin does, so Balvenie says, okay, I like smoking. And also, we learned Tin Balin is a little violent. She has a bat, and also zombies? Question mark? How are zombies in this universe? Where do they fit in? And why is she so calm about them? And now it's time to explore that bloody pulp in the middle of the room. Which, as Balvenie will normally react, she's very surprised, but then she wants to take a bite. And then we savor that bite, enjoy that chewy, juicy, meaty texture, that hotness coming from that fresh, dead body. And we find out it's Tin Balin. I don't know how Balvenie knows that's Tin Balin from the taste of that, but concerning. But we also learned, all that aside, that Tin Balin is very suicidal. That Balvenie is trying to prevent her from being suicidal like a assumably good friend would. Hopefully nothing psychotic from that. But we can just assume right now that she is doing this out of goodness of her heart and just wants Tin Balin to live the best life that she can. Now, with this new information, I feel that this is enough for us to have our very first chalkboard session. I apologize for my enthusiasm, but chalkboards of this quality are hard to find in the wild, and I assure you, we are going to use it well. So far, with Tin Balin, we understand they are suicidal, dare I say, edgy, a smoker, and possibly mildly violent. We understand Balvenie was born on June 21st, loves cutesy things in life, is innocent but mildly suspicious with some strange habits, and blood in her room. She is also obsessed with Tin Balin, and is more than happy to munch on her flesh. We also have zombies brought up into this world, which does not yet have a placement on the chart along with some other details. While all of this doesn't seem like a lot so far, it is a good start to keep our thoughts straight, as these details pile on to each other pretty quickly. And so, this concludes our very first chalkboard session. Now let's go ahead and jump back into the show. We left off where Balvenie said she is on a quest to revive Tin Balin. To begin, we must find an eyeball of all things. To find this eyeball, we must head back over to Balvenie's room. And there, we will find that the eyeball was actually that cute little flower we saw at the beginning. Once you plug it, you'll see that something strange happens to it. It contorts and is censored, which is very odd, almost like what looks like to be the remains of the nerve endings of an eyeball, if you know what that looks like. Kind of like what's around the door, which I find a little interesting. And we squish it in like any sane person. And now we need to find a skeleton. But where can you find a skeleton in this very cute, perfect little world? We can now find that we can enter the other hallway and find an additional room over here, along with an elevator that leads down to the party below. The other room is a little more childish looking. It has scribbles all over it with a person named Aredbeg on it and Bacardi. And our loyal servant who we can kill. which is odd. However, where else can you get a good bone outside of from the freshest of bodies? Once we return, we will now go ahead and force that bone inside, and now we only have one step left in order to put Timbaland back together, which will be blood. And we can't get the blood like normal, so instead we need to figure out where else we can find it. Who else is best to ask other than the person next door, Ardbeg? We now head out to go over and just ask them where can we find that blood, just like any good neighbor will. And our bunny talks to us very weirdly, and it's interesting how you can react to them. They are extremely loyal, and they still work for you after you behead them. Which, if you're a villain, I suggest you go over and hit them up. And we now go inside, and we find a giant cage which might belong to Bacardi. And a lot of pills, and a lot of drawings. Which also tell us a lot possibly about this character being more childlike. With pills. A good combination, may I add. And we draw the blood, assumably from the bed, or from them themselves. Poor Ardbeg. Oh goodness. That's kind of graphic. And Balvenie goes over and says, "He's droopy," which, I mean, of course they are. You just massacred them. We now head over in order to complete our Frankenstein mess and put the last item in and inject the blood. And after that, out pops out Timbaland, who's a very unique looking character. Red and blue hair with a knife stabbed through her head and missing a leg. Honestly matches the room though. However, once we mention Ardbeg, they instantly teleport away from us, and it's time for us to go over and track them down. And assumably they're in this room, as that's when we mention them, and we find them over their body, interestingly enough. And oh gosh, that looks a lot worse up close. We really did a number on them. I mean, Balvenie did it. I am just the witness here to this. And she mentions Balvenie's hurting her while trying to save Timbaland. Like, while hurting Ardbeg to save Timbaland, which is a very interesting note I suggest you guys keep in mind of. And this glitched out screen happens, which is also interesting. We now enter the session that started to make me believe that not everything is as we seem. It's a very different art style, and assumably it's still the same character we're following around, Balvenie, as they have very similar hair color. And we meet these strange faceless apple people that mention how they are more ordinary looking, how they're jealous, and makes us believe Balvenie is a very popular person. I mean, look at all those presents. Then we learn from this person, who is assumably her friend, that this is the day before Balvenie's birthday, and she's already getting all of these presents, which is kind of insane. Balvenie's super popular. We have two options here, which, honestly, life's good. And she says, "Oh, we're freaking shameless." And if we say, "We're kind of uncomfortable," she says, "Get off your high horse, bitch." Which maybe she's still a friend and just teasing us as friends do. You know? And she even has a present for us. So that's nice. But she is ashamed to give us to it here. So maybe it's a little bit of fun time, if you know what I'm saying. So we're gonna head over to the bathroom. Now, this is when you are probably expecting me to pop in our chalkboard session. However, there's still just a little bit more important information, such as the day resetted after this. We are now back to where we were at the beginning. However, things are a little different. Where that flower was, it is now all scratched out. And our interactions with the rabbit is just a little different, but overall the same thing. There's a party going on. But all very, very strange indeed. And we also get the directions back up. So it did just reset our day completely after that. Now don't mind me finally using the bunny henchmen for the purpose they are in saving the game. I wasn't sure exactly what I did, choices that would affect it, so I went ahead and saved. And we now head over and we see Ardbeg in the hallway. Kind of concerning. So our day resetted, but not exactly the same way. And they need medicine. And goodness, that is hopefully not from what we did. I also noticed how the world's getting a little more glitchier in that area. A bunch of static areas, which could be missing texture, or maybe it's part of the game. However, we could just ignore him and just go straight down to the party, where we encounter our bunnies with this nice present for us. Wow, Balvenie, they're so sweet. Best henchmen, there are so many of them. And now, after a good thank you, it is time to open up our present. And let's see what the little bunnies have given Balvenie. It's none other than her butcher knife. Nice and modified, which is interesting. We're always happy even to be sacrificed. That's okay, perfectly normal. Please use us, oh gosh. Kind of concerning. Use us as your emotional outlet, or better yet, as the only hope you'll ever have. And the stream contorts as they continue going about abusing them. And then they mention something else interesting. They say that so no one else will ever know your secret. I wonder what that could mean. And then we go and slaughter everyone with the happiest face ever. Happy birthday, dear Balvenie. I find it so creepy that these bunnies can still talk after being decapitated. Honestly concerning. As you can see, this is our first official ending, treatment refusal. And now, once we cut away, we get a treat to one of the goriest pictures imaginable. And now, it is time for our Chalkboard Session. This is the first theory forming session. The earlier one was more for you to get a small taste at what was happening. Through the gameplay, I will be simply pointing out the details you may want to take note of, giving you a chance to form your own thoughts. Thoughts I would love to see in the comments, as Jo Sipu's content was made purposely for this. She wants people to draw various conclusions and connections with their characters. This is why I chose this more interactive layout for this theory video. And also, these chalkboard sessions are where I will insert my own opinions and draw my connections, so you will understand where I am coming from. First off is Balvenie. Balvenie's door shows her innocent self, however it supports a giant crack. Yes, she broke out, however, I feel that the crack does have a genuine meaning. Perhaps it represented that Balvenie was trapped in her own head, and when she forced past that barrier, cracks in her innocent facade began to form. This is farther supported by the first ending. As the bunnies mentioned, Balvenie has a secret only they know. What is this secret? Well, it could have been that Balvenie has killed someone in the past. The blood and knife in her room could support this, along with her obsession with killing the bunnies. I will share more thoughts on this later, but let's go over to Tinbound before this. Tinbound's door I already addressed a bit in how it represents more of Tinbound's edgy side of things. However, I did not mention the eyes. As Balvenie mentioned, the cameras watching Tinbound were broken. Perhaps these eyes are the cameras that represent Balvenie's obsession over Tinbound, how she'll give Tinbound no personal space. Also, while we know Tinbound offed herself, how did she die? It was quite a brutal death, however we can assume that to be symbolic flair. She has a knife through her head. Perhaps that is how she ended herself? But why would Balvenie keep the knife there and not put her leg back on? Well, perhaps this was Balvenie's way of reminding Tinbound who she, let's say, belongs to. By not giving her back the leg, she is trying to make Tinbound dependent, and by leaving the knife, she is reminding Tinbound that she brought Tinbound back, that Tinbound belongs to her. Now the body parts Balvenie chose to bring her back together: an eye, skeleton, and blood. This may seem random, however, Jo Sipu is anything but random, and I feel these were chosen on purpose. The eye, so that Tinbound can see her as with Balvenie's obsession. What's the point of the person if they can never see you? The skeleton is so that they keep the body form that Balvenie loved. And the blood, well, despite me saying it's not just because that's part of the body, for now it is due to that it's just because of the body. And this is simply because, as of right now, there isn't a lot of evidence to support the significance of the blood. It may come on later, it may not, and I may have to form my own thoughts on it without anything else, but for now, this is just due to it's part of the human body. But why not a heart or brain? These are usually the first things you think of with what keeps a human body functioning. Well, perhaps the lack of a brain is to prevent Tinbound from doing things against Balvenie, keeping her passive. Some killers in history have a similar practice, such as Jeffrey Dahmer, who would pour hydrochloric acid into the brains of their victims to make them perfectly passive to him. But if she's obsessed with her, why not give her a heart? Well, perhaps Balvenie is nervous Tinbound wouldn't like her back. This is a common fear people have when obsessed with someone. This lack of a heart could be Balvenie's way of trying to force her emotions onto Tinbound, as Tinbound couldn't form her own emotion. Next up is Ardbeg. His door is a small notebook covered in doodles that extend to the walls. Most of the doodles are balloons, clouds, and stars, normal things kids like to doodle. His name is also misspelled on the door, all of which support that Ardbeg is a child, which really makes some of the things Balvenie does to him a lot more stomach-wrenching. However, there are a few things going on his door. He has a drawing of another character with hearts. Perhaps this could be a love interest. And maybe that person is Bacardi, whose name is scribbled on the side. Also pills. Lots and lots of pills are on the door. And this theme continues into the room. Pill pillows and drawings along with rainbows. Happiness with pills. Now, medicine was mentioned, so the lack of information so far, perhaps these represent Ardbeg is weak and relies on medicine to live. Also, the giant cage in the room, when you interact with it, Balvenie mentions the absence of Bacardi. This cage could belong to him, but why? There isn't, just like before, there isn't a lot of information to go off of. However, perhaps Ardbeg is obsessed with Bacardi, continuing this theme that we had with Balvenie. Now, addressing the elephant in the room, Balvenie draws a lot of blood from him and lacks a reaction to Ardbeg unable to move. This could suggest Balvenie is so obsessed with Tinbound that she doesn't see people as people. They are just objects in her way. Tinbound also had an interesting reaction seeing Ardbeg, and said Balvenie was hurting her. Perhaps Ardbeg is a younger sibling of Tinbound, explaining the desperation? The last thing to address in this session is the section of art style change. As I said, this was the first scene that made me think that Balvenie's party doesn't take place in their real world. I believe this section was a flashback. It could be the day before, perhaps years ago. Either way, this was reality, minus the appleheads. That part is symbolism of the faceless classmates that followed the crowd. It showed that Balvenie was popular, and many people envy her. But what caused the shift of the world? Well, perhaps the killing Balvenie could have done it. We're stuck in a time loop on Balvenie's birthday, the day after the flashback. We can then assume that the event happened on her birthday. Back to the bunnies I mentioned earlier, they could represent who she killed, or her guilty conscience. Perhaps she snapped on her birthday and went on a mass killing spree of her classmates, then was cursed to be stuck on that day, or mentally regressed to try and pretend that day never happened. At this point, it is hard to say. And with that, this concludes our first theory session. It's time to jump back into the show. So now, instead of being the neglectful friends that we are now going to be good people and go and get Ardbeg's much needed medicine to hopefully save his life. To find out, we go into his room, and in his room, we find someone new, who we learn to be Bacardi. So the drawing was of him, and he's doing the usual, just keeping an eye on things, just how Balvenie keeps an eye on Tin Ballen. Very interesting. Ardbeg is sick, which could be because he needs the medicine in order to live. If you get 5 questions right, you can have some tablets. A little weird that he is bribing us, that we need to get the questions right in order to get the tablets to save his assumably friend or lover. It's very weird indeed. Tin Ballen wants to commit suicide. Correct. Balvenie is the god of this world. Correct. Because Balvenie is God, Tin Ballen can be saved. Correct. Ardbeg loves Bacardi. Correct. And final question. Tin Ballen loves Balvenie. And of course it'll be correct, just like the other ones, right? And no. And we learn here the truth. The reason why, where I was saying earlier that she didn't put the heart inside Tin Ballen is because she was nervous for Tin Ballen to express her feelings back. She wanted to force her own feelings onto Tin Ballen. And that's kind of what's being shown here, as Tin Ballen, according to Bacardi, does not love Balvenie. And he finally gives us the pills after we get all the questions right, even though he should have just gave them to us to begin with. He says, how does it feel to be closer to reality? A very, very interesting amount of information we've learned by talking to that character. But before anything, we must be good people and give Ardbeg the much needed medicine. And once we give him the medicine, he suddenly a whole lot better. Thankfully. It's just though, he is... It looks like patchwork, almost like pills in real life, where it doesn't really fix the issue, it just patches it right over. And he'll happily join our birthday party though, so that's all good. Everything's back to normal, and we can continue our sweet lives of innocence just like how nothing ever happened. So now we're going to go over and head downstairs to the basement. And here, Balvenie has a kind of a midlife crisis. We learn Tin Ballen was her only friend she ever had. That she was the only one by her side. And the world really contorts as she's having this realization. And man, does she not look happy going down to that party. But we go down anyways. And all our bunnies are here to greet us. Ardbeg is nowhere to be seen, so he lied to us, which... I mean, screw him. It's our party, but we still have all the bunnies. What else could we need in this world? So let's see what they gave us this time for a present. Instead of a butcher knife, we get Tin Ballen's broken up body. We wondered where they disappeared to, and here they are. Kind of disgusting. It's about time you get a grip, Balvenie. Tin Ballen wants to die. Tin Ballen hates you, Balvenie. Forget that bitch. What do you want to do about a blank like that? We exist for you, Balvenie. Just us. Nothing more. No, I have to save Tin Ballen. As you see, this very split conversation happens. And it's very, very interesting. How it's the bunny that we decapitated that's telling us all this information. And as you can see, Balvenie looks really, really incredibly sick after this. It's much too painful. Back by Tin Ballen. And it very much shows her obsession over Tin Ballen. Just how crazy she is for her. Coincidentally enough, this is called Obsession, ending 2. And with this, it is time for us to go to our next chalkboard session. To start with, we should focus on the questions Bacardi asked and figure out what they change and add to the previous theories. Question 1. Tin Balin wants to commit suicide, which is true. This supports things we previously put together, so it is just extra evidence for that. Question 2. Balvenie is a god of this world, which is true. Now this alters the previous theories of the world versus the flashback, also confirms some other things. What this question implies is that this game takes place in Balvenie's mind. The cracked door, the increased glitchiness over time, all this implies that Balvenie is slowly losing the facade she has built up in her head, most likely due to suppressed memories, the flashbacks starting to resurface. The bunnies, then, are Balvenie's consciousness, her guilt, and everything else. They also show how much Balvenie relies on her internal mind to live on. Question 3. Because Balvenie is a god, Tin Balin can be saved, which is true. This makes sense. This all happens in Balvenie's mind, then she can make anything she desires happen. However, this also tells us some more details on the real world. Everything that happens in-game, outside of the flashbacks, are just in Balvenie's mind. But we can confirm Tin Balin died in real life. Perhaps this was the cause of Balvenie's mental regression? She saw the love of her life kill herself and then possibly went on to kill the rest of her classmates. She regressed and blocked off the memories to pretend the world is her perfect fantasy. Question 4. Ardbeg loves Bacardi, which is true. With the little information we have on these characters, this just confirms the heart on the walls represent their love. However, I thought Ardbeg was obsessed with Bacardi, but perhaps this is the other way around and Ardbeg is showing Stockholm Syndrome. Bacardi is showing manipulative habits through his use of pills to get what he wants. It is likely he has similar habits to Balvenie. It also makes more sense than a child controlling someone older. Hopefully he's under 18 though. Also, Stockholm Syndrome, if you're not aware, it's when someone who's abused or is kidnapped, something like that, takes on a emotional liking to their abuser or their kidnapper. Is a very, very interesting thing that happens in the real world. And it could be this. Maybe the cage is the false idea that Ardbeg has that he controls Bacardi, when it's actually Bacardi that controls Ardbeg. This can also be proven by the fact that Bacardi is not limited to that cage, as Balvenie pointed out at the beginning. Question 5. Tin Balin loves Balvenie, which is false. This confirms my thoughts on that Balvenie didn't give Tin Balin a heart, for she feared that Tin Balin would not return her feelings. And from this question and answer, we can then assume that it is true. Balvenie's fears are genuine, but the question becomes, what did Balvenie do to Tin Balin in the real world that caused Tin Balin to resort her to not like her? After Ardbeg gets his pills, it is shown those pills did a temporary patch on his issues, which more mimics that of antidepressants. Perhaps these pills are an attempt to protect a child, innocent half, from being lost to negative emotions. It would make sense as his assumably older sister, Tin Balin, does a lot of self-harm, and those negative behavior would probably reflect on Ardbeg and affect him. Also, Bacardi reminding Balvenie of Tin Balin's lack of love for her caused a lot of distress to Balvenie. While there was some mild glitching forming before, the entire world contorts and changes color as she approaches her party. Once there, things at first seem similar until she opens her present. It is revealed she received Tin Balin's disassembled body. The bunnies then ridicule her for liking her, saying that they are all she needs for her happiness. Now, with this all being in Balvenie's mind, this could be her extreme obsession causing a mental split, making her torn on love and saving Tin Balin, and in a nicer term, disregarding her. Which also mimics the fitting title for this ending, Obsession. All in all, this was very important in deepening our understandings of this world and added more layers of questions. It is time now to resolve those questions and jump back into the show. So now we want to continue it where instead of going to have the birthday party, we are going into Tin Bal's room, which will give us a different outcome. However, as you can still see, Balvenie is very greatly affected still by what Bacardi said, that thought that Tin Balin hates her, and as you know, she loves her so much and dearly. And it doesn't matter which option you pick, it'll come out the same thing. And now we are continuing that cutscene from earlier, and we are going to follow the girl into the bathroom with her bone body friend, skeleton, zombie. And you're ready for that sweet, spicy... Oh, it's just chocolate. Mildly a downer, but hey, you know what? Chocolate's a good gift too, sometimes. Oh, goodness. Rated PG. Such a good friend, making sure we eat her gift and everything. I'm eating. And these two options are slight difference. Eat, you go quiet, it's implying you're eating it. And if you stall, you just say I. And then Tin Balin comes in and punches in like the sweetest little friend. This person does not like Tin Balin at all. Giving her birthday present. Oh, that chocolate. Tin Balin is still that brash character that we pictured earlier. Smashed it. Tin Balin's mildly the bully-ish. That's kind of rude. Yeah, that's very rude. Oh gosh, she was trying to kill us. I guess it wasn't that rude after all. I don't know, that's really weird, I will say, because it's almost like Tin Balin's mildly bullied. But she really didn't bully, she kind of saved us. More bullying the other person would be a better way to interpret this, but I'm leaving the interpretation to a minimum. And that's the end of that flash scene, which is interesting. Oh, and here we can find Tin Balin down the hall to explain us everything that happened. Just keep an eye. Very similar dialogue to Bacardi, interestingly enough. As Balvenie said that as well. Yeah, it is interesting how they have the same dialogue. That is weird. At least we're not being another 5 questions. What was I about to say? At least we're not being bribed. Bribed for pills. Alright. Interesting how we got to save before these 5 questions. Tin Balin wants to commit suicide. Well, we already heard from Bacardi that... Oh no. It is all wrong. It is all the opposite of what Bacardi told us before. Which is rather interesting. Except for the final 5th one, we don't answer. And you didn't come prepared. Is it that difficult? But, implying from what was said earlier, where this is all the opposite, this is saying Tin Balin loves Balvenie. Zombies? Well, I guess here's where the zombies come in. But, like all sane people, my first thought is, does it kill me? And yes. Yes, it does. So let's continue running. Let's enter. Oh, it's locked. Okay. Yep, we can't enter Tin Balin's room, luckily enough. Oh yeah, she has the weapon. Perfect for bat killing. Those same hard eyes are showing that obsession. Here we are being attacked by zombies, and she's more worried about how hot she looks while fighting zombies. Oh goodness, that's not okay. I agree with her. What else could matter other than your very attractive body? Who could have unleashed them? Well, it's a zombie. Been Rose? Or Rose? I think Rose is the way you say that. A new character that we have no information on. Interesting. As I promised. Be fair, Tinbound, I don't think you promised us anything. Or unless you did, I completely skipped over my mind, and you can help with my stupidity. Oh, and we get another flash scene now. This time on a really nice setting on the school top. Just where all romantic school comedies take place. Or tragedies. We can release some of my stress. And we can hear that they both share this drawing habit. Or maybe it's more of Tinbound started drawing, Balvenie saw and started copying her and started drawing. And yeah, we do know they're going through a lot, Tinbound, with their harmful tendencies, as we understand. Although this is a better outlet than those harmful tendency drawings. What exactly did that not? Oh yeah, they really don't tell us a lot about Tinbound's past in the game, unfortunately. Although the videos are a little different, but those are staying out of this video, that's for sure. Wish I can... New character. Oh, that's actually sweet. That's really sweet. Oh. Although we don't get to see. Oh, and we're waking up again, but this time Bunny's a little different. Honestly, that's kind of bizarre. Today is, yep, June 21st, as we all know and understand. My birthday, or Balvenie's birthday, my correction. But the bunny is bizarre. The flower is still scribbled out, and I've noticed our world is now crinkled up like paper. I'm pretty sure it wasn't like that earlier. I may be mistaken. I will confirm that later. Come on, I want to share cakes with everyone. A little bit of a shorter dialogue with them. And nothing really different, just a you want to save, and so I save, unsure of what life has to come to me. This time the door is still busted, which I think that was the same with all the other walkthroughs, so what am I even saying? And, no reaction this time to the door. Oh, we start sobbing this time around. Completely, our character's starting to glitch out. It could be missing assets to the game, however, with how it's all slowly building up. I feel it's more of purposeful texture, which is how this developer really is using this more simple style to their advantage. It's just everything they can. And that weird overlap with her and Ardbeg, it's very weird. Need an eyeball. But instead of doing that quest we did earlier, our bunny shows up and talks to us, hopefully kind of calm us down, telling us we don't need so. Oh gosh. Oh, that's a lot worse than I was expecting. I need blood. I think we finally found that purpose of that blood. Possibly. I'll get back to that later. I love my little puns. It's not really a pun. Oh gosh, and a different cutscene. Oh, whoa. Oh, Tinbound's not looking good. At all. Oof. Imagine walking your friend like that. That is not pleasant. Oh man, poor Balvenie. Oh yeah, this definitely confirms what I'm thinking about the blood, but oh gosh. Oh no. And here I've been judging Balvenie this entire time, saying she's super obsessed, but dang. Oh, don't be sick. Oh, she's more than sick, Balvenie. Oh. Oh no. Yeah, I'm pretty sure earlier this was not all wrinkled up with the beginning scene and stuff. I think that is more the world crumbling up. Oh wait. But now it's Bacardi waking us up? Ardbeg? We're Ardbeg now? What? Today's my birthday. And we're Ardbeg now. With a very bloodied up screen-ish. What? Happy birthday, Ardbeg. That's interesting how we're Ardbeg now. Medication comes before the party. So, like what I was saying earlier, the illness and stuff. Possibly. Pills in Balvenie's room. I eat my meds and then eat cake. Oh my gosh. Ardbeg is really sweet. A really sweet child in such a messed up world. Oh my gosh. Oh lord. Oh. We'll just ignore that for now. Bacardi gave us the pill pillows? So Bacardi are the ones giving all the pills then? Interesting. No reaction to the cage. And CP. Yeah. Please, eyeball. Let us get by. Could this be like the eyes in Tin Bound's room, I wonder? I don't know. It's up for you to decide right now. Whatever shall I do? I'm a male damsel? I don't know what a male damsel in distress is called. 1, 2, 53, 54. Man, if y'all remember hide and seek, it's always 1, 2, skip a few, 99, 100. Ardbeg over here counting quite literally to 100. That is some dedication. Gosh dang. We're heading out. I really love their designs though. That's some unique. Oh yeah, no, this was not like this at all. I am certain. Oh, there's zombies too. Oh, one was. We barely made it in time. Oh goodness. Seen you in a long time. Huh. It's interesting. Rather interesting, their dynamics. And yes, it's been a while since our last theory. However, I think it'll be best to try and make it till the end for one big last hoorah with how this is all building up. And I really want you guys to have a chance at forming your thoughts during this. Balvenie's wardrobe. Of course that's where you will put pills. It's a nice big clunky wardrobe and there's no medicine. Perfect place to hide medicine, I feel. Balvenie's bed. No medicine. It's a flower. It's interesting how we can tell it's a flower with it all scratched out. Huh. Weird. What's behind the curtain? And we got our pills! So, Ardbeg doesn't die from his assumably life-threatening illness. Voila. Found the medicine. Good job. Oh. Oh goodness. Me and voice acting is not very good. Something big. Oh yeah, the zombies. We already saw them though. Unless there's something else. We'll see what he says. Oh no, zombies. Definitely the zombies. I felt terrified, honestly. They're kind of goofy looking jobs. Goofy looking zombies. Oh my goodness. A lot of zombies. special case? Does that mean he's a zombie too? Or partial zombie? Or werewolf? Or something along those lines? Take a bite from my flesh. Oh gosh. Okay. You really are a good kid. Stay still. Alright, we're gonna have some tasty Bacardi flesh. Open wide. Here comes some. Oh, this is so freaking disturbing. Oh gosh. Took it like a champ. How does it feel? Wait. Huh, well, was that a translation error? He said, we take a bite of his flesh, but he clearly took a bite of our flesh. So is he a zombie? He's very different than the other zombies, that's for sure. Okay. Now it's time for us to head out in our very, very trippy state. Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah, don't mind my, stupidity here. I was confused. So I thought you could just walk into the pills and you collect them. Turns out, you have to press the interact button to collect them. But luckily, I finally figured that out, and we're off on our Pac-Man munching wada 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 wada. I love that sound, dude. Alright. Oh yeah, hear me going back, checking if I can interact with the door. Like any good full playthrough. And wada wada wada. You can't interact with any of the doors. Except for the one at the end. Oh wait. It's so fucking trippy. Oh, I love the art. I love the art. No, I guess we could interact with the bedroom. I just forgot to go back and check. My bad. Oh, no, wait. Oh, yeah, I realized what happened here. It was that you couldn't go down to the basement, so I went here. Instead, you celebrate your party here! And get this delicious intestine pill cake as he happily eats us alive. Oh. Oh, gosh. Thanks, everyone. I'm not the pill eyes. Oh. Oh, and he's just a child. Oh, gosh. Oh, no. Oh. No, the bite out of his shoulder, so... Oh. Oh, always. Always and forever. Love you. Oh, that's such a... Oh, he ate the eye. Of course it's the eye. Oh, be mine for the... Oh, be mine for the rest of your life. Oh my gosh, so that... Other than that's my love. Oh my gosh. And there's that overlap again. Interesting. True ending. Happy birthday. Oh, that's delightful, being eaten alive. Oh, yes, secret code. 1208. Interesting. 1208, huh? Now we're gonna go over and type it in. Which it had another number in there, but I know no significance of it, and I tried other numbers in there that I figured out other people's birthdays from videos, but none of them worked in here, so it's only this number. And we find out that is actually Tin Balance' birthday. Interesting. Why would Tin Balance' birthday? Well, I mean, she is obsessed with her. Of course, it would be her lock combination. Cut your ears off? Whoa. Risk getting bitten by a zombie? Oh. This is more of that obsession, I'm assuming. Kill Tin Balance? Yes? What? What the heck? Good job, Balvenie. Happy birthday! Oh, that is the worst birthday ever. Secret ending. And with that, it's time for our final Game theory session. Quite a lot of information to dig into, so let's start with Tinbound, specifically her unfortunate death. As revealed in the secret ending, Balvenie actually killed Tinbound, and Tinbound did not off herself. There were hints earlier in the game with Balvenie munching on her flesh and the insane obsession she had, all of which added up to a very unhealthy relationship, which also means the flashbacks where Balvenie is over Tinbound's dead body in the tub. That is when Balvenie killed Tinbound. Perhaps a psychotic break happened where Balvenie wanted more of a relationship with Tinbound, and she snapped when she just couldn't get it. What we see is that aftermath, and when Balvenie snaps back into reality. And she was desperate to reverse what was done, so she began slicing herself up to pump blood into Tinbound to save her. And this is where the importance of the blood comes in. Blood was chosen to revive Tinbound earlier because Balvenie felt that if enough blood was pushed back into the body, it would save them, which we sadly know isn't exactly true. To go farther on this process, we need to address the second to last world reset. This one, Balvenie was awakened by a bunny that resembles Tinbound, which is also listed separately from the Balvenie's minions bunnies in the credits. When Balvenie finds Tinbound's body, she again tries to revive her with an eye, skeleton, and blood. However, this time the eye and skeleton came from the unique bunny and the blood from Balvenie. I feel this bunny represents Tinbound and how Balvenie thinks the best way to save Tinbound is by harming them, along with harming herself, as she would give up everything for Tinbound, also supported by her killing the bunny minions for Tinbound, and as we addressed earlier, these bunnies are the extensions or representations of Balvenie's mental state. All of this represents just how unhealthy their relationship was and the gruesome aftermath. Also, with the amount of blood Balvenie lost in that final scene of her, it is very, very possible that she died as a result or was in a coma, which is a really tragic end to the story of these two. But to go farther on Tinbound, I feel Ardbeg and Bacardi are two halves of her. Ardbeg being the childlike innocence protected by antidepressants, also being the side that loves to draw, as we saw Tinbound enjoy drawing in the flashback. Anytime Ardbeg felt bad, the pills patched them up, something antidepressants do, and over time it created a need-based relationship. While Bacardi represents that self-harm, while Tinbound did not want to kill herself, she more than likely did express bodily harm at some point, and then later did drawing to help alleviate that pain in a more healthy manner. This is why Bacardi bit up Ardbeg. That was a very manipulative relationship. Bacardi had a cage that represented an attempt to restraint over self-harm, but it did nothing as he freely went in and out. Self-harm controls people. It is like a toxic relationship that gives people false feelings of satisfaction. Something that I feel these two show. This is also why Tinbound expressed that Balvenie harmed her by harming Ardbeg, for they are the same person. Now, the questions Tinbound asked bounces off Bacardi's question, except every answer is now the opposite. Tinbound does not wish to do suicide. Balvenie is not god of this world. Balvenie cannot save Tinbound. Ardbeg does not love Bacardi, and the unanswered, does Tinbound love Balvenie? From the trend of answers, it would presumably be yes. But what exactly does this mean? Is Bacardi wrong and Tinbound is correct, or vice versa? Well, I feel they are both correct in their context. Bacardi, addressing Balvenie as god of this world, is addressing the mental world Balvenie is in, while Tinbound addresses the real world that Balvenie is trying to block off. That is supported by the flashbacks providing further support for Tinbound's answers, and the Balvenie's world supporting Bacardi's. Now, most of these simply provide further proof of the theories mentioned before. However, the last question adds a little bit more. From this, we can assume Tinbound did have feelings for Balvenie. However, Balvenie was unaware of this. The flashbacks also show this by showing the care Tinbound gave by protection and hope through drawing. Balvenie became so lost in their headspace and so afraid Tinbound would not love her back, she never thought to ask. Therefore, she formed an imaginary answer in her head that was a no, while in reality, it was most likely a yes, which all just makes her unfortunate end a lot more heavy. Also, this reality was what Balvenie was trying to ignore this entire time. Balvenie did not want to accept the reality and created her own falsehood inside her mind. This is why over time, as more of these flashbacks became unearthed, and why Balvenie's, the secret ending was locked up in Balvenie's wardrobe, because, well, this is all showing Balvenie creating blockades around herself, trying to protect her mentality of her love for Tinbound and protecting her that she was the one who ended Tinbound's life. I mean, like, how absolutely horrible is that? Just a depressing thought to think of that, like being the killer of your lover. It's horrible, and it's very understandable why she would create that blockade. And she was the one who actually locked herself up in her door to begin with. We then also saw what happened as Balvenie's fortitude began to crumble. Her world began to contort, shatter. The music began warping, the world crumbling and becoming more glitchy as it progressed, all because her world was falling apart. Her imaginary world was falling apart. It was horrible. I mean, just like seeing what happened to begin with, but then seeing her having to relive and reaccept everything. It's honestly quite a horrible but rather interesting thing to go through, and really just shows how great this game is. The last theory chunk I have for this is the bully in the flashbacks. I believe her name is Rose. As in the flashback, she had a zombie next to her, and we know Rose causes zombies. So assumably, they are the same person. However, why is Balvenie's mind plagued with these zombies? Well, I mean, it is because how severe that bullying was. I know I made some lighthearted jokes that she was actually a tough friend, but very clearly that was anything but that. It was bullying to the point beyond just emotional manipulation, but a genuine attempt to cause severe harm, if not death. Showing just how cold Rose is, and after many years, her influence became stuck in Balvenie's mind. This is why these zombies hurt Balvenie in her world, as they represent the bully that harmed her for many years. Also, Bacardi is presumably a zombie of some kind, as shown by him chomping his Ardbeg. Yes, he represents self-harm for Tinbound, but perhaps he is more formed and solidified by the bullying of Rose, which is why he takes on an alternate zombie as he stemmed from Rose? Hard to say. So that's it, right? Jo Sipu's characters are explained in this game and the theory is all put together. However, this is sadly not the case. There are certain things that do not add up with the conclusion theory of this game. If Bacardi and Ardbeg are Tinbound, why is it considered the true ending when Ardbeg gets the happy birthday? Why does Ardbeg and Balvenie glitch on top of each other? I mean, Tinbound was shown to have a birthday on a different date, so it does not make sense a half of Tinbound would have the same birthday as Balvenie and be labeled as the true ending. I mean, with that, there are a lot of other gaps there with the characters too. I mean, like, look at Rose. We don't know anything about her other than these few assumptions we can make. And these are gaps that the videos fill very well. As Jo Sipu said, each piece of her content helps put together the characters. In order to truly understand the game and the characters, we have to analyze the videos as well. And this concludes our final theory session for this game. And now time for the last small segment. Here are the end credits of the game that will give you a taste of what's to come in part 2. These are snippets of our YouTube content, which is more of what I will be covering next time. I really enjoyed this experience. It was fun making it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. But first and foremost, I have 3. No, actually 4 shoutouts to give. First is the Jo Sipu, of course, for this amazing content. It is deep, it is unique, and it is a complete delight to digest. I hope this video inspired you to go over and support her content as well. Second is for Joshua. He discussed quite a lot of these theories with me, and we bounced ideas. He's also been supporting my channel since the beginning. Third is for Trinity, or aka Trini Slate. She is an amazing artist and friend that helped me figure out the mechanics of video editing. Who knows where this video would have landed without that beginning guidance. And last but not least, you and everyone else that watched my videos. I appreciate the support so much. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If so, please subscribe, like, and of course share your theories down below. I want to interact with you guys, and I would love to hear your ideas. And that's it for this video. I hope to see you in part 2, and also feel free to take a peek at my other content. See you next time!